Sandhan. All Gujarat Integrated Classroom.
સેટેલાઇટના માધ્યમથી જોડતી કડી એટલે સંધાન.
Hello and welcome to the world of mathematics. Friends, mathematics is a very special subject on its own. Many people love to do mathematics like anything. And at the same time, many people are so scared of mathematics that they get sick when they hear of mathematics. Even the same story prevails amongst the famous people. There was an English physicist, Paul Dirac. He was so amazed by the beauty of mathematics that he used to say that if there is a God, he must be a great mathematician. But on the other hand, there is a very popular statement of Charles Darwin that a mathematician is like a blind man sitting in a dark room searching for a black cat which is not there. So mathematics is a very special subject on its own, and we are going to talk about one topic from mathematics. The name of the topic is ring theory. In fact, mathematics has many branches. One of the branches is algebra, and one special corner of algebra is known as abstract algebra. Basically, abstract algebra deals with the study of some algebraic structures like groups, rings, vector spaces, etc. So this is mathematics. It comes to abstract algebra, and then it comes to our today's topic, ring theory. We'll have a bit of historical tidbits. The word algebra is derived from an Arabic word, al-zabr, and it was coined in 820 by the Persian mathematician known as Al-Khwarizmi. So this is quite an old word, algebra. The meaning of algebra presumably is the restoration or completion, and it seems to refer to the transposition of subtracted terms to the other side of an equation. Then comes the word abstract algebra, which is sometimes known as modern algebra as well. This phrase abstract algebra was coined at the turn of the 20th century to distinguish this area from what was normally referred to be an algebra. So this is a special study of some algebraic structures. The question is, what is the significance of abstract algebra? Abstract algebra is very much useful in mathematical physics, and there is an intensive use of abstract algebra in theoretical physics drawn on Lie algebras. So this is more related to mathematical physics. And now we come to the technical matters. Before we go to a ring, we talk about a group, which is more fundamental than rings. Group is basically a non-empty set G with some binary operation, say star, and the four properties to be satisfied. The very first property is a closure property. Closure property means that whenever we take two elements from G, then their A star B must be in G. So whenever we have two elements in G and we apply operation star on it, then again the output must be a part of set G. The second property is associativity. This associativity is a very simple and a very old property. It says that whenever we have three elements A, B and C in G, then A star into B star C must be equal to A star B into star C. So that is an associativity. The next is an existence of identity element. We must have some element, say E. This element E behaves like an identity element in the sense that if we take E with any element A, then we get the same element A. Simply speaking, A star E must be A and E star A also should be A. Then E is said to be an identity element in a group. And finally, existence of inverse elements. So if you take any element A, then there must be some other element, we can call it inverse of A, such that if we take A star, that element, then we get the identity element. So whenever say A star B is equal to E, identity element, then A and B, they are called the inverse elements of each other. So group is a non-empty set with operation star and 4 properties: closure property, associativity, identity, and inverse. And now we move on to ring theory. Ring basically is an expansion of a group, you can say. In a group we had only one operation star. In a ring we have two operations. We normally denote them by plus and dot. In a group we had 4 properties. In a ring we have 8 properties. But these 8 properties are not equally distributed amongst plus and dot. We have first 5 properties for plus. They are closure property for plus, associativity for plus, identity elements existence for plus, inverse elements existence for plus, and commutativity for plus. Commutativity is a plus b to be equal to b plus a for all elements a and b in G. So this simply means that we have 5 properties to be satisfied for plus. The next 2 properties for another operation dot, closure property and associativity for dot, and finally a distributive property that dot must be distributive over plus. So basically we have 8 properties. We have 2 operations plus and dot, but both these operations are not equally handled. Like plus is we can say somewhat more important operation because it is dealing with 5 properties. We have 2 properties for dot and 1 common to both. So we have in all 8 properties for a ring, and if all 8 properties are satisfied, then we say that R is a ring with respect to plus and dot. There are a few remarks. When we denote plus, we normally mean addition by plus, but here we have to be very careful that this plus is not an addition, not an usual addition, we should say. So whenever we say a plus b, that means a with b and the first operation is applied on both. So whatever the first operation is denoted by plus. So if it is 5 plus 2, that doesn't mean 7 always. We'll have to see which the first operation in a ring is. If the first operation in a ring is multiplication, then this 5 plus 2 will be 10. Though it looks 5 plus 2, it is actually 5 multiplied by 2. So this is little confusing and we'll have to be very alert about it. So whenever we say plus, please mind that it is not an addition. Similarly, when we say dot, it is not multiplication, because when we write normally 5 into 2, 5 dot 2, normally it means 10. But here when we write 5 into 2, we'll have to be very careful that dot is the second operation. So if the second operation is addition, then we'll have to say 5 into 2 equal to 7. So very confusing matter it is, because plus is not plus and dot is not dot. Next, when we say plus, there is an identity element with respect to the first operation plus. This identity element is denoted by 0. Normally 0 is a number 0, and here when we talk in ring theory, we don't mean 0 as number 0. When we say 0 element, what we mean is the identity element for the first operation plus. So if the first operation is multiplication, then our 0 will be equal to number 1, because multiplicative identity is number 1 for numbers. Okay, so once again we'll have to be careful that 0 is the identity element for plus. Similarly, we know that in the definition of a ring we have 8 properties, and these 8 properties do not include the identity element's existence for dot. But many a times rings do have the identity element existing in a ring with respect to dot. Whenever this thing happens, we say that that is a multiplicative identity, and many times we refer it to be unity element. Now this unity element is denoted by 1, just like additive identity was denoted by 0, and it was not a number 0. Here also multiplicative identity is denoted by 1, and once again 1 is not a number 1, 1 is the identity element for the second operation of a ring. Okay, normally it is by default that a ring must have a commutativity with respect to plus. So whenever we take two elements A and B and we take A plus B, it is same as B plus A. It has to be there in a ring, but it is not necessary for a dot. For a dot, A dot B may be different than B dot A. Again, dot is the second operation of a ring. So if we get that the commutativity is satisfied for dot also, then we say that this is something special, and R is a special ring called commutative ring. So commutative ring means commutativity for dot, because commutativity for plus is anyway available to us. If R is a ring with unity, then an element A in R is said to be a unit element if multiplicative inverse of that element exists in a ring. So suppose R is a ring. By the definition of a ring, it is not necessary that every element must have a multiplicative inverse in a ring. But many elements do have multiplicative inverse elements existing in the ring. So if any element's multiplicative inverse is available in a ring, we say that it is a unit element. So once again, very close words, unit element and unity element. Unity element is the identity element with respect to dot in a ring, and unit element is an element in a ring whose multiplicative inverse exists in a ring. So once again, a notion to be careful. Then we go to a higher version of a ring. Popularly it is known as a division ring. The division ring has more properties than a ring. A ring had 8 properties. A division ring has 10 properties. First of all those 8 properties of a ring are definitely satisfied. But over there, in a ring, identity element's existence for dot was not required. But in a division ring, identity element for dot must be there. Similarly, the inverse property for dot was not available in a normal ring. But here in a division ring, we have to have the inverse elements availability for dot in a ring R. The only thing is that these inverse elements, actually multiplicative inverse elements, have to be there for non-zero elements, because 0 cannot have the multiplicative inverse. So all other elements other than 0 must have multiplicative inverses in a division ring. So division ring has 2 additional properties, and both properties go to dot multiplication: existence of identity element for dot and existence of multiplicative inverse elements. Okay, so these 2 additional properties make a ring to be a division ring. And now we come to a super ring. We say it is known as a field. We could see that even in a division ring, we had 5 properties for plus. Those 5 properties were closure, associativity, identity, inverse, and commutativity. Division ring brought dot quite closer to plus, because in a division ring we had 4 properties for dot: closure, associativity, identity, and inverse of non-zero elements. But still, one property was missing in a division ring, and that was the commutativity for dot. Now it is included in a field, and so in a field, in all we have 11 properties, 5 properties for plus and 5 properties for dot. Which are these 5 properties? Closure, associativity, identity, inverse, and commutativity. So 5 properties for plus and 5 for dot, and of course the last distributivity is anyway there. So here field is almost a perfect kind of a structure, because it has the maximum number of properties so far. So we have to be little careful only when we talk of inverses, because when we talk of inverses, additive inverses are available for all elements, but multiplicative inverses are available for only non-zero elements. So that is a point to be noted. And otherwise, field is a very strong algebraic structure. There comes a definition called zero divisors in a ring. Now this is a little awkward when we remember our number theory. Normally we know that in our normal number system, whenever multiplication of two numbers is 0, then one of the numbers has to be 0. That is what we normally have. But here we have a little different story. Many a times it happens that of the two numbers, both the numbers are non-zero, and yet their product, their multiplication is 0. We'll take it for granted that whenever we talk of multiplication or whenever we talk dot means the second operation of a ring. It's not the usual multiplication. So many a times if we define some operations, then even a product of non-zero elements become a 0. We'll see an example. Suppose we take an operation called multiplication modulo 6. So this is an operation. It's little different than usual multiplication. According to our normal multiplication, if we were 2 multiplied by 3, then we get 6. Okay, but when we have 2 multiplication modulo 6, 3, then of course 2 multiplied by 3 is 6. But for the operation multiplication modulo 6, we have 6 equivalent to 0. So 2 multiplied by 3 is 6, but 6 is equivalent to 0, so it is 0. Like, okay, suppose we have 2 multiplication modulo 6, 4. Then we actually have 8, but we don't have 8 because we have operation multiplication modulo 6. So actually 6 is equivalent to 0, so 7 will be equivalent to 6 plus 1, and that means 0 plus 1, and therefore 1. Similarly 8